settings. Well, first setting is complete, and now, well, here we have to complete the second setting. Okay, second setting is complete. Salam Habibi, how are you? I hope you are fine. It is me, Michaela Santa. I am here with you. Accordance with titles, yes, today we are roasting Almas Jacob in the topic of Gen Z intelligence. Now, recently we have seen that several persons, I have to say that Almas Jacob recently uploaded a video where she were talking about that how Gen Z is being dumb. And here she contains some points on her videos. And here I got some summaries and I would show you. And now we would discuss about Gen Z intelligence in the perception of ICC T20 World Cup 2026, where today's match is England versus Pakistan. Okay, now let's go. Well, here we got a summary. Let's focus on the summary. Okay, here is a video. I could not upload it, but I have a screenshot. Here, the video of Almas Jacob is shocking Gen Z going dumb conspiracy exposed. And here it is the points. It is Generation X. When generation talking about the Gen Z, IQ is started at 80 and it's going on 88. It is the points of Almas Jacob. Okay. Now here we can see as in accordance with the summary, the video discuss the Gen Z going down. Almas Jacob says that here Dr. Jared Connet, the researcher of Harvard University, claims that Gen Z are being dumb by scoring lower than the previous generations. Okay. And now let's see what is the points of Almas Jacob. The points of Almas Jacob is rejection of God leads to loss the wisdom. The video asserts that when society rejects God's intelligence diminish, people may get information but lose wisdom and understanding. Okay. And the second points of Almas Jacob is modern system and destruction. The video claims that modern system aims to make people productive consumer rather than thinkers and constant destruction of deliberate plans. Well, and the third point of Almas Jacob is that why Gen Z are being dumber. That is unlimited access of informations. The video notes that while knowledge get increased, understanding gets decreased. That is the points of Almas Jacob. Okay. Well, now here it is my points, and today we are talking about the match between Pakistan versus England. Okay. Now in the first battings here, in the first innings, Pakistan scored 164 runs out of 20 overs. And as in replay innings, England scores 166 runs in 19 over 1 ball. Okay. And now the result is England on against Pakistan by 2 wickets. Let's check it. Who is the highest scorer of Pakistan? That is Sahibzada Farhan. He scored 63 out of 45. And who is the highest scorer of England's reply innings? That is Harry Crook. He scored 100 runs out of 51 balls. Okay. Now let's check it the points. Now we can go to England innings. Well, here we can say Harry Crook scored 100 runs out of 51 ball where 10 boundary and 4 over boundary. Okay. Well, now here we are going to talk that how we Gen Z are being smarter than our previous generations or the generations of Alma Jacob. Okay. Now let's see what is the points. Well. Now let's talk about the points where the generations of Imran Khan. Let's talk about the generations of Imran Khan. In the generations of Imran Khan, we could not think that there can be a over boundary with the length of 95 meters. Well, hence in that times here over boundary length was shortest length is 77 meters and longest length is 80 meters. And in the generations of Pakistan, nobody could think that here there a particular over boundary would be exist with the length of 95 meters or 1 meter more than 95 meters. And now, coming to the points of generations of Sahibzada Farhans, well, hence, since Almas Jacob is Pakistani women YouTubers, here I would discuss the generations in the perception of the generation Gen Z of Pakistan. Now, in the period of Sahibzada Farhan's generations, we can now think that here we can believe that there a boundary can be exist with the length of 1,000 kilometers. Well, okay. Now let's see. I can guess that Almas Jacob age is almost 36 years. Hers because she born in probably 1990. Okay. Now when she was aged as a 20 years, that would be 2010. And in that period, here we can see that was 3 years of T20. Here we could not believe that here over boundary can exist where the over with the length of 100 meters or 200 meters. But now T20 age is now 20 years, and we know that here over boundary can exist with the length of 1,000 kilometers. How would be the possible? I have a science, and probably Almas Jacob could explain it with her religion. First of all, now let's see. Let's talk about the changes brain. Okay. Well, It is Genji's brains as the moments. Well, now let's talk. Harry Cook score contains four over boundaries. Now let's focus on it. Uh, okay. Well, here, what is the range? Okay, now here we can see range is 1000 kilometer. Okay, that means 10 to the power 6 meter. And here we can see the points. What would be the square root of that? Now let's see. Square root would be, square root would be like 1 is 6, 10 to the power 6, multiple by 9.8. And now let's check it. What is the square root? Well, but at the first, let's contain the calculators. Well, now let's contain the input 10 to the power 6 multiple by 9.8. Okay. And here we can see, we can write square root of 98 multiplied by 10 to the power 5. Okay? 98 multiplied by 10 to the power 5. And now let's check it the points. Well, 98 multiplied by 10 to the power 5 is, we can say, and now let's contain the overroots. Well, that can be the possible 3131 meter per second. Okay. Here we can see 3131 meter per second. Well, it is the points as we can see. Well, here now rest of this can be heights. Okay. Now here we Genji can explain that how we can get an over boundary with the length of 1000 kilometers. But now here we got a problem, and the problem is how Almas Jacob explain the over boundary with the length of 1000 kilometers. Okay. Now here let's check it. Well, here is in Hebrew language. It would be said that Arvinu. Well. Now here I think here Control J is necessary. Oh, now I would write this. Avinu Bifkistan Hamona Bid Palot Yit Kadish Shamach Yevu Burotich Yas Ret Jonach Kifti Shehu Bi Kistan Hamona Biti Palot Tanlenu Hanom Eta Amonotenu Hat Flot Hayo Moyot Vesa Toch Lenu Al Yediatenu Kifi Shakom Ana Chatu Sala Chanu At Yana Tenu Vil Tevit Otenu Le Hin Saka Ala Ala Hatzil Otenu Mehemachanes Hanala Kil Silas Baburot Vehanoches Vehidela Lentes Aman. Yeah. Okay. It is an Hebrew language written in English. And now let's say the points. What is the meaning of that? Okay. Well, here now I would say about the Almas Jacob explanation that what is the point that over boundary can contains the length of 1000 kilometers. That is here we can see our father in superstitious Pakistan, hallowed be your name, your illiteracy come, your will be done on earth as it is in superstitious Pakistan. Give us today our daily superstitions and forgive us our knowledge as we also forgive our knowledgeable person. Lead us not into education but delivers us from higher educator. For yours is the illiteracy and the power and the glory forever. That is here the point, that explanation of Almas Jacob, that how, okay, well, that is the explanation of Almas Jacob, that how over boundary can exist with the range of 1000 kilometers, where I, the Genji women, can explain it like the over boundaries, equation of over boundaries velocity is square root of the multiplication between range and gravity accelerations. We know and we got an information that length of over boundary is 1000 kilometers and gravity acceleration is, we know that the gravity acceleration is 98 meter per second. Okay. And now it is the points that how Harry group contains the first over boundaries could be explanations. Well, now the second point, let's check it. Okay. And now the second point here we can mention is the over boundary kinetic energy. Well, now here we can see the points. Over boundary kinetic energy is half. Okay, we know that kinetic energy equation is half of weight of object multiplied by velocity square. Now what is velocity square in here? That is the multiplication between range and gravity accelerations. Okay, and here we got a half of weight of ball, cricket ball is 0.082 kilograms. That means 82 grams. Okay, now let's see. Here the equation is half of weight of cricket ball is, equation is half of weight of cricket ball multiplied by range multiplied by gravity accelerations. Okay, now here we know the multiplication between range and gravity acceleration is 98 multiplied by 10 to the power 5. And now let's check it. Now we can condense the points. We have to calculate 0.082 multiplied by 98 multiplied by 10 to the power 5. Now here is my point, that what is 0.082? 0.082 is 82 multiplied by 10 to the power negative 3. Okay. Now here the observation is multiplication between 10 to the power 5 and 10 to the power negative 3 is 10 to the power bracket of 5 subtract by 3 bracket close. That is 10 square. Well, and here we got the finds. They are significant points. Well. We got the find their significant points at the moments. And here is scientific analysis. Well, just wait and watch. 82 multiplied by 98. Well, and it multiplied by 100. Okay. And now let's check it. And here is the significant moments. 82 multiplied by 98 multiplied by 100, and here we can see 803.6 kilojoule. Okay, here result is 803.6 kilojoule. And here is my explanations of over boundary. Well, everything is okay. Yes, everything is okay. And now let's see what is the Almas Jacob explanation in there. Still, Almas Jacob explanation is: our father in superstitious of Pakistan, hallowed be your name. Your illiteracy come, your will be done. ... For your is the illiteracy and the power and the glory forever. Well, it is the explanation of Almas Jacob. Okay, now here we can see that my explanations. Okay, now my explanation is: what is the applied force on over boundary? Okay, now, and here we can see, and here perhaps I have forgotten the point spine height. Well, spine height is 67 multiplied by 10 to the power negative 3. May meter. Well, and now here we can control the multiplications. Well, now here we can clear as the moments 0.9 98 multiple by 0.0. I apologize here 0.6 and here we can see, and here we control the velocity. The what would be the applied force? 98 multiplied by 10 to the power 5. And here let's get the journey at the moments, and it can be divided by the spine height, that is 67 multiplied by 10 to the power -3 meters. Okay, and here we can say that is the significant moments at the points. Well, now here we can see our significant points is how we can calculation it. Okay, now here we can see what is 10 to the power 5 divided by 10 to the power -3. That is the multiplication between 10 to the power 5 and 10 to the power 3. Okay, and here the multiplication between 10 to the power 5 and 10 to the power 3 is 10 to the power 8. And now here let's get the points. Now let's calculate 98 multiplied by 6. Well, 98 multiplied by 6 is 90 multiplied by 6 enter sum by 8 multiplied by 6. We know 8 multiplied by 6 is 48 and 90 multiplied by 6 is 540. Hence 98 multiplied by 6 is 588. Okay. And now here we can see our calculation is clear cut points. Just for wait and watch. And here we can see our calculation is clear. 0.98 multiplied by 588 multiplied by 10 to the power 8, and now we have to divide it by 67, and here let's check the bracket close at the moments, and because of fans points we have to ignore like this. Okay, well, just wait and watch. Here we can see the significant moments. Now 588 divided by 67. Well, enter okay. Now here we can see 0.98 multiplied by 588 bracket close divided by 67, and let's check it. 8.6. Well, here we can see 8.7 multiplied by 10 to the power 8 Newton. Okay, Newton. And now Here is the points here. Well, I think here we can see the over boundary applied force, and in this pointers, it is my explanation that how over boundary works with the applied force. When we want to generate the over boundary with the length of 1000 kilometers, here we can see our over boundary applied force is equation with the equations of 0.98 multiplied by half of weight of cricket bat multiplied by range multiplied by gravity accelerations. Okay. Now here the multiplication, because we know the equation of force is weight of object multiplied by normal accelerations. Okay. Now here we know the equations of the velocities is v square initial, the final velocity square subtracted by initial velocity square is equal to 2as. And here we can see initial velocity is 0, and now we can see v divided by 2s is equal to a. And here now equation of force is half of weight of object multiplied by velocity square divided by this force distance. And now what is the force distance? That is spine height. And what is the velocity square in here? That is range, the multiplication between range and gravity accelerations. Now here we are. Complete force cannot be applied. Here the force of equation becomes 0.98 multiplied by half of weight of cricket bat multiplied by range multiplied by gravity accelerations. Here when the length of over boundary is 1000 kilometers, the multiplication between range and gravity acceleration is 98 multiplied by 10 to the power 5 height. And half of weight of cricket bat is 0.6 kilograms. Now we know that 0.98 is 0.98. Now here we can see the calculations became 0.98 multiplied by 588 multiplied by 10 to the power 8 enter divided by 67. And here answer is 8.7 multiplied by 10 to the power 8 newtons. And here we can see it is important when we are going to an apartment to be cricket batting technical analysis. When we are going to support, when we are going to the employment of cricket batting technical staffs, here it is necessary that what is the points that what is the explanation when over boundary length is 1000 kilometers. That is the points. And here Harry Cook first over boundaries works. Now what if Harry Cook second over boundaries works? Here Harry Cook second here we can say range is 4000 kilometers, and here we can say the velocity can be 6262 meter per second. Well, and now here let's check it. The over boundary kinetic energy would be 1608 kilojoule, and over boundary apply force would be 18 multiplied by 10 to the power 8 newtons. Here, this is how the cricket match Harry Cook's boundaries works. Okay. Now it is the points. Now let's talk about the statistic of cricket performance. Okay. Now here we can see the what about the statistic of cricket performance, and well. Now here we can see Pakistan target is 164. Pakistan could score 164 in 20 overs. Now let's see. What is 164 in 20 overs? We know 25 over boundary means 150. 26 over boundary is 156. Well, 28 over boundary is 168. Now here we can see Pakistan score 164 runs out of 20 overs and provide the score of 168 in 20 overs for to England batsmen. Well, and here is the points. England could achieve the target of 165 runs in 20 overs provided by Pakistan if and only if England could contain 28 over boundaries in almost 4 over 4 balls. Here we can see England could defeat Pakistan in 10 wickets. And here it is the points, that is the significant moments. England best, it is the works points that how we Gen Z can work. Now here we can see when Imran Khan was cricketer of the player of Pakistan in 1992 World Cup or One Day World Cup, and here we can see that Imran Khan is Generation X cricketer. Now here in that era, if Pakistan could score 164 out of 20 overs, well, none of audience could imagine that 100, the target of 165 in 20 overs for England can be achieved easily in 20 overs. Nobody could think in 1992 because young in that period the most of the young audience were Generation X. But now here we can see in the calendar of 2026 the most of the young audience is Gen Z, and we Gen Z believe that here Pakistan provided 100 the target of 165 runs in 20 overs provided by Pakistan can be achieved by Englander batsmen with the 28 over boundary in 4 overs, 4 balls. Because here 4 overs is 24 balls and 4 over 4 balls is 28 balls. And here the run rate would be 36 run per overs. It is simple. But in the points here we can see, okay. But in the points we can see that Almas Jacob says that when the Gen Z get more knowledge, their understanding can be decreased because they reject gods. Now here I would tell you the points. Well, Pakistani cricketers are Homo sapiens. Englander cricketers are Homo sapiens. Both of they are humans. Well, in monkeys there can be several biological species. In snake there can be several biological species. But in human there is one biological species, that is Homo sapiens. Here Pakistan is Homo sapiens. England is Homo sapiens. But when Pakistan is a Muslim country, England is Christian country. Now, Englander cricketers reject Pakistani Islamic gods, and probably Harry Cook reject Pakistani Almas Jacob, Jesus Christ. And that is the reason that Harry Cook know that how to score 100 runs out of 51 balls. But here probably, I don't know, but in this match between Pakistan versus England, here we could see that probably Joe Butler did not reject Almas Jacob gods. Okay, and here we can see the significant moments at the points. Okay, now let's check the points. Joe Butler as a wicketkeeper, he scored 2 runs out of 3 balls. Okay. And where is the points? Well, here the point is rejection of God leads to loss of wisdom. The video asserts that when society rejects gods, intelligence diminishes, people may gain information but lose wisdom and understanding. And now we can see it is the opposite of the reality. Now let's check it. Well, here we could see that as a theoretically, well, 2 overs 4 balls. What is 2 overs? That is 12 balls. And 2 over 4 balls is 16 balls. Well, and here we can see what is the points. What if 16 ball contains the 16 over boundary? Here we can see 96 runs would be from 16 balls. I mean 96 runs would be from 2 over 4 balls. And here we can see George Butler did not reject God of Almas Jacob. Well, here if we can say that the George Butler's God and Almas Jacob's God is the same God, that is Jesus Christ, still we can say that George Butler did not reject this Jesus Christ. But here, what is information? Information is here we can see the batsman can run the 100 a batsman can score 100 runs in 20 overs. Batsman can score 100 runs in 25 overs. And what is the wisdom or and understanding? The wisdom and understanding is when target is 165 runs in 20 overs, wisdom and understanding is George Butler has to score 96 runs with playing 2 over 4 balls. That is wisdom and understanding. But problem is, George Butler did not reject Almas Jacob's Christian God. And here the result we can see, Josh Butler scored 2 runs out of 3 balls. Now score is 2 runs though, so how can we find boundaries or over boundaries? It is the logics. But in the third of the 3 balls, Josh Butler has been out. Now here we can see accordance with wisdom and understanding, Josh Butler has to score 12 runs out of 2 balls. But when Josh Butler did not reject the God of Almas Jacob, he could score 2 runs out of 3 balls. Here, 10 runs is missing. And that is the significant points that what is at the moment significant losing point at the moment. But what about Harry Cook? Well, Harry Cook rejected the Christian God of Almas Jacob. Now let's see the result. The result is significant. Well, what is 10 boundary? That is 40 over. What is 4 over boundary? That is 24 runs. Well, 40 sum by 24 is 64. And on the other hand, 10 sum by 4 is 14. Okay, now let's see. What is the subtraction of 100 by 64? That is 36. What is subtract of 51 by 14? That is 41 subtract by 4. That is 37. Okay. And now, well, when we can count the balls, without boundaries and over boundaries, still only from single, double, triples, Harry Cook scored 36 runs out of 37 balls. And on the other hand, only from boundaries and over boundaries, Harry Cook scored 64 runs out of 14 balls. And it is the points when Harry Cook reject the Christian God of Almas Jacob. And it is the significant points. Well, and here we could see it is the moments. And if Harry Cook start to believe a scientific God in lieu of Christian God of Almas Jacob, what would be the points? Okay. Now here we can see what is 51 over boundary. That is 306 runs. Well, when Harry Brook scored 306 runs out of 51 balls, what would be the results? 166 sum by 306. That means 172 sum by 300. That is 472 runs in 8 balls. In 20 overs. I mean 90 overs of 1 balls. And now here we can see the points. But the problem is the target is 165 runs in 20 overs. And how here England could achieve the target of 165 runs provided by Pakistan, where England's score would be 472 runs in 20 overs. Now let's get the journey. Okay. And here we can see a journey is simple and the journey is beautiful at the points. Okay. Now 472 divided by 20. What is the result? That is 23.6. Now let's check it. 165 divided by 23.6. What is the result? That is almost 7 over. Okay. That is almost 7 over. Now, here what could we find? Well, in the run rate of 23.6 run per over, in the playing of 7 over by England batting teams, England can achieve the target of 165 runs provided by Pakistan if and only if Harry Brook can score 306 runs well out of 51 balls. And here we can see somehow the calculation can be disturbed. Okay. Now here we can see the points. Well. And now let's find out. Here we can see the justifying points. Phil Salt scored Golden Duck. Josh Butler scored 2 runs out of 3 balls. And all pressure on Harry Brook. Okay. Now here we can see. Let's get the points. 165 subtract by 2 is 163. And here we can see 163 and balls remains almost 116 balls. Okay. Now here we can see the 27 over boundary is 162 runs. 26 over boundary means, okay, 28 over boundary means here 168 runs. Now here we can say Harry Brook can play only to 27 I apologize, only 28 balls with 28 over boundary and score 168 runs. 168 . sum by 3 is 171. But wait a moment. One, well, 162 sum by 2 is 164. It is the similar score of Pakistan. 168 sum by 2 is 170. It is the original journey. 27 sum by 4 is 31. Here we can see in the playing of 5 over 1 ball by England batsman, England can achieve the target of 165 provided by Pakistan, and England can defeat almost England can get victory against Pakistan in the target of 8 wickets. And here, that is the my explanations of me, the Genji girl, when I reject the Christian God of Almas Jacob. Now, accordance with Christian God Almas Jacob, when I reject Christian God, well, I can lose my wisdom. But here, the wisdom is Harry Brook would score 168 runs in 28 balls. And in the playing of 5 over 2 balls, England can achieve the target of 165 provided by Pakistan and defeat Pakistan in the target of, in the difference of 8 wickets. And that is the significant moments. Well, it is the wisdom and understanding we still remain, notwithstanding reject the Christian God of Almas Jacob. And now let's discuss the points that what if we would not reject the Christian God of Almas Jacob? Now let's check it. Well, Josh Butler scored 2 runs out of 3 balls. Okay. Now what is 165 divided by 2? It is round figure, we can say 166 divided by 2 is 83. Now what is 83 multiplication of 3? 3 multiplied by 3 is 9 and 80 multiplied by 3 is 240. Well, now accordance with Josh Butler performance, England could achieve the target of 165 runs as a target provided by Pakistan in the playing over of 249. Now here is the disgusting moments, because here we can see what is 249. Well, 246 is 41 overs. That means 249 balls means, okay. Now we can say that 249 balls means 41 over 3 balls. Now here we can see, but England cricket team could not have the time of extra 21 over 3 balls. And that means here we can see England would lose to Pakistan in almost 86, in a difference of 86 runs. If England would not reject the Christian God of Almas Jacob, as Josh Butler did not reject the Christian God of Almas Jacob, Here we can see. Now, in this real life, we can see that rejecting of God of Almas Jacob, here our wisdom and understanding is increasing second by second. Okay. And here it is the points of the side of the batsman of England. Now let's talk about the Pakistani sides. Okay. Now here we can see that what would be about the Pakistani sides. You can see the points. Now let's talk about the points. Well, let's go to for summary. It is Sahibzada Farhan. Sahibzada Farhan has scored 63 runs out of 45 balls. Okay. Now here we can see. We could see the Sahibzada Farhan scored 63 runs out of 45 balls in almost 7 boundaries and 2 over boundaries. Okay. And here we can see as the significant moments. Well, what is 45 multiplied by 6? That is 270. Okay. And here we can see what is 270 subtract by 63. That is 207. Okay. Now let's check the points. What if Sahibzada can score 270 runs out of 45 balls with 45 over boundaries, where each over boundary contains the range of 1.5 thousand kilometers. And here we can see let's check at the points. What would be the what would happen? I mean, what would affect on the match between Pakistan versus England? Now let's check it. Well, 164 sum by 207. That means 171 sum by 200, that is 371. Okay. Now let's check it. England's real score is 166 runs in 19 over 1 balls. As a projections, we can say that England's score is 166 runs in 20 overs. And now, here the significant moment is when Sahibzada Farhan can score 270 runs out of 45 balls, Pakistan can score 371 runs in 20 overs. Hence, Pakistan can provide a target of 372 runs to England. That means in the purpose of the victory of England, England would score 372 runs in 20 overs. And now the real score of England is 166 runs in 20 overs. Okay, now let's see the what is the points when 372 subtract by 366. Okay, I have a guys. What if what is the point when 372 subtract by 166? Now, first of all, let's check it. 72 subtract by 66 is 6. And 3 subtract by 1 is 2. That means England could be defeated by Pakistan in the distance of 206 runs if and only if Pakistan could score 371 runs in 20 overs if and only if Shahebzada Farhan could score 270 runs out of 45 balls. And that is the significant moments as we could count the points. It is my explanation that what if Shahebzada Farhan scored 270 runs out of 45 balls on the as an effect on the match between Pakistan versus England. It is my explanation. But what is Almas Jacob explanations? Well, Almas Jacob explanation is our Father in superstitious Pakistan, hallowed be your name, your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in superstitious Pakistan. Keep us today our daily illiteracy and forgive our knowledge as we also forgive our knowledgeable person. Lead us not into education, but deliver us from the higher educator. For error is the illiteracy and the power and the glory forever. That is the explanation of Almas Jacob about Shahebzada Farhan's score to be affected on the match between Pakistan versus England. And now, here we can see that is the momentums at the points. Now, accordance with Almas Jacob, well, if we can say, if any Christian Pakistani cricketer would read the dua that our Father in superstitious Pakistan, hallowed be your name, ... Here is the illiteracy and the power and the glory forever. Pakistan can be defeated. Pakistan can get victory against England in the difference of 200 runs or 100 runs. But my wisdom is Pakistan can defeat England in 206 runs if and only if Pakistan can score 371 runs in 20 overs, and that is possible if and only if Shahebzada Farhan could score 270 runs out of 45 balls with 45 over boundary. And 45 over boundary. Okay. Now let's see the points at the momentums. Okay. Now we can see the points. We are the Gen Z Pakistani cricketers are more intelligent than Almas Jacob, and we are more wise than Almas Jacob, because we know that our over what is the process that our over boundary length would be 2000 kilometers or 5000 kilometers. Yes. And it is the significant moments. When now let's check it. Uh, here we can see when the over boundary range is 9000 kilometers, what would be the affected? Okay. Now we know the velocity is square root of the multiplication between range and gravity accelerations. Now it says is 9 multiplied by 1000 multiplied by, I apologize, 9 multiplied by 10 to the power 6 multiplied by 9.8. And here the velocity would be 3 multiplied by 3131. That means 9393 meter per second. Okay. And here is the significant moments. And what would be our over boundary kinetic energy? And here our when the over boundary length is 9000 kilometers. Here we can say we got the over boundary kinetic energy is 803.6 kilojoule. Well, as a round figure, 804 kilojoules, where the over boundary length is 1000 kilometers. At the same time, when over boundary length is 9000 kilometers, we can calculate easily. 4 multiplied by 9 is 96. Here 36. Hence, the over boundary kinetic energy would be 7236 kilojoule if and only if over boundary range would be 9000 kilometers. Okay. Now let's check it. We know that over boundary is applied force is 8.7 multiplied by 10 to the power 8 Newton. As a round figure, we can say 9 multiplied by 10 to the power 8 newtons, where over boundary range is 1000 kilometers. What if over boundary range would be 9000 kilometers? Then hence the over boundary applied force would be 81 multiplied by 10 to the power 8 Newton. Okay. That is my wisdom about the cricket match between Pakistan versus England. But here we can see, let's check it. What is the point when the wisdom of Almas is about over boundary between the match between Pakistan versus England? Now let's get the points. Okay. Well. And here we can see it is the it is the point. Now let's say what is in Arabic. Albania fi Pakistan al-Khurafati liyata kadas al-Mustuk yata jihilika litakun mashariyatuka illa al-ard kamahi fi Pakistan al-Khurafati aitna al-yan khurafatna al-ya miyati Wakfiru ilana ilemena kama gafama nana ilomana wala tukla fil al tak ilim bal nija mina al muelim al muteli hana tak ajazi wal kudrati wa masjid ala al badu. Okay, that is the wisdom of Almas Jacob, where that where the over boundary length is 9,000 kilometers. Well, now in when we are roasting and this when we are roasting Almas Jacob in 150 videos or 120 videos, here we know that what is the points of Almas Jacob. Well, now over wonder when the purpose to get the over boundary with the length of 9,000 kilometers, if we can say that La ilaha illa anta subhanaka inni kuntu minaz zalimin, then we can contest the over boundary with the length of 9,000 kilometers. Hertz, and that is the wisdom for Almas Jacob. But if we say that if we have to contest the over boundary of 9,000 kilometers, we have to contest the velocity of 9,393 meter per second, kinetic energy of 7,236 kilojoule, and the applied force of 81 multiplied by 10 to the power 8 newtons. Accordance with Almas Jacob, that we are possessed by black magic. We are possessed by black magic. And here, that is the points of Almas Jacob. That is significant difficulties. We are aware about the superstitions of Almas Jacob, but I do not how, I do not why the superstitions of the several supporters of Almas Jacob believes the superstitions from Almas Jacob. Okay, recently in the previous podcast, here we were talking about Nipah virus, that how Almas Jacob propaganda about Nipah pandemic India has been burst when the several score of Nipah virus, the United States of America, England, Scotland, Italy could score 180 runs against each other in India. That was the significant points. Okay. But and here we can see what about the 9,000 kilometers. Here is the significant moments at the points. But Almas Jacob thinks that is the superstitious. Well, Accordance with Alma Jacob, we can say it is superstitious, but this is wisdom. Well, I mean, uh, uh, where is going on? Yes. Mm, Allah. According with Alma Jacob, it is black magic and it is divine wisdom. Okay. Now let's check it on the black magic the points. Well. And now here we can say the different moments. Well, I think I have I would like better to calculate my points. What is 10 root 10? That is 3.1622. Oh, okay. 31 multiplied by 3.1622. Okay. Now here we can see here it is the different moments. If our over boundary velocity would contains 10,000 kilometers, our as an over boundary range length, our over boundary velocity would be almost 9901 meter per second. Here our over boundary kinetic energy would be almost 8036 kilojoule. On the other hand, well, our over boundary applied force would be 87 multiplied by 10 to the power 8 Newton. It is our points. And if I can say the explanation like that, where we can get the over boundary range length of 10,000 kilometers, there we are possessed by black magic or Satanism accordance with Almas Jacob. On the other hand, when Almas Jacob explained the over boundary length of 10,000 kilometers as our father in superstitious Pakistan, hallowed be your name, your kingdom come, your will be done, or La ilaha illallah subhanaka inni kuntu minaz zalimin, like that. That is divine wisdom accordance with Almas Jacob. Well, now I can consider myself as proper Gen Z, but well, probably Almas Jacob was born in 1990. That means Almas Jacob is 6 years older than me. She is millennial. And now here is the points. Almas Jacob say Gen Z are dumber than Almas Jacob's own generations. I apologize, but Almas Jacob is wrong and reality is opposite of Almas Jacob. Okay. But not of Gen Z. Somehow the a 1% fraction of entire Gen Z can be dumb, hence they are subscriber of Almas Jacob. Well, now let's check it. We can say Well, okay. Now it is the video of Alma Jacob. Well, as a screenshot, it is almost 12,000 views. Well, subscriber is 383,000. Now let's see. 1100 Gen Z like the video of Alma Jacob, where the significant moments is, well, where the significant moments is Alma Jacob said that Gen Zs are dumber than the generation of Alma Jacob. Well, but it is the points. With the wisdom of Alma Jacob, you cannot get a knowledge that how would be your powerful overboundaries. I mean, with the wisdom of Alma Jacob, you cannot get the proper knowledge about the power of your overboundary. Now here we can see, now it is the moments of the overboundary is science, where overboundary's length is 1000 kilometers. But now, here are the points that, oh, when the topic is overboundary, length of overboundary to be 1000 kilometers is the satanic possessing accordance with Alma Jacob. Why I am asking? Well, here is the moments and the points. Okay. And now, here we can see the points. But first of that, now let's contents about. Okay, now distance calculator Jindabad. Well, we are talking about the distance calculators, and now here we can say the significant moments. Well, it is Kandy, Sri Lanka. Okay. Now let's see. Kandy, Sri Lanka. Okay, Kandy, Sri Lanka, and here the arrivals is it would be like Dhaka, Bangladesh. Well, I have no ideas about the points. Okay. The distance of between Kandy, Sri Lanka and Dhaka, Bangladesh is almost 2.2 thousand kilometers. Okay. Now here we can see, and the flying distance between Dhaka, Bangladesh and Kandy, Sri Lanka is 2.2 thousand kilometers. That means the overboundary length to be 1000 kilometers is the half of the flying distance between Dhaka, Bangladesh and Kandy, Sri Lanka. It would be the middle, it would drop in middle Bay of Bengal as like the points. Okay, and here that is the significant moments that cannot be acceptable like that, but we would accept it. And now here the point is 1000 kilometer. Here's the explanation is why the 1000 kilometer to be overboundary length is satanic possession accordance with Alma Jacob. Well, and why over boundary or length to be 1000 kilometer is opposite of wisdom of Almas Jacob. Uh, because here the over boundary velocity would be 3131 meter per second if and only if over boundary length is 1000 kilometers. Okay, now let's talk about what if over boundary would be 16,000 kilometers. Let's talk about it. Okay. Square root of 16 is 4. Okay. Now here we can see 30 or 100 multiplied by 4 is 300. Apple guys, 12,300. And 31 multiplied by 4 is 123. 12,300 sum by 133 is 12,423. Well, the velocity would be, over boundary velocity would be 12,423 meter per second if and only if over boundary velocity is 16,000 kilometers. Okay. And here we can see over boundary. Let's talk about over boundary kinetic energy. Well, 8 multiplied by 4 is 16. Okay. 8 is 2 cube. 4 is 2 to the power 4. 2 cube multiplied by 2 to the power 4 is 2 to the power 7. And what is 2 to the power 7? That is 128. Okay. And on the other hand, 4 multiplied by 16 is 64. Okay. Now here we can see over boundary kinetic energy would be 12,864 kilojoule if and only if over boundary range would be 60,000 kilometers. Okay. Now what is the points? Now let's talk about the points. 60 multiplied by 9 is 60 multiplied by bracket of 10 subtract by 1 bracket close. That is 160 subtract by 16. That is 150 subtract by 6, that is 144. That means here we can say over boundary applied force can be 14.4 billion Newton if and only if over boundary length is 60,000 kilometers. Okay. But unfortunately we can say it could exceed the gravity of Earth. Here we can see what happens, and that is the opposite of wisdom of Almas Jacob. But it is the real wisdom, as we can see. And that is the way as we can notify. Well, what if range can be 4,000 or 9,000 kilometers over boundary? Length would be 4,000 kilometers or 9,000 kilometers. What is the geographical effects? Okay. Now here we can see geographical effect is significance. Okay. Now here Shanghai. Shanghai. Now let's talk about the what is the distance, flying distance between Kandy of Sri Lanka and Shanghai of China. Okay, here we can see the flying distance is almost 5,000 kilometers. Okay, and now recently we have to discuss the velocity of 90. Okay, here we are distance of. Now, recently we have discussed the over boundary velocity to be here 60 to 162 meter per second. If the over boundary velocity would be 60 to 162 meter per second, what would be the points? 60 to 162 meter per second of the over boundary velocity. Well, over boundary length would be 80% of the distance between Kandy, Sri Lanka and Shanghai, China. Now here we can see it is the points. Well, 400 as the 400 the points. 8 multiplied by 4 is 32. And now 4 multiplied by 4 is 16. Here we can see if over boundary kinetic energy is 3216 kilojoule. Here we can see the over boundary length is 80% of the flying distance between Kandy, Sri Lanka and Shanghai, the city of China. Okay, and now let's talk about the applied force. When we are talking about applied force, okay, 9 multiplied by 4 is 36. Here we can see over boundary applied force can be 36 multiplied by 10 to the power 8 Newton if and only if over boundary length is 80% of the flying distance between Kandy, the city of Sri Lanka, and Shanghai, the city of China. Well, and here is our wisdom. Here is the knowledge of we Gen Z. And now here we can see when we Gen Z rejected the Christian God of Almas Jacob, it is the point. What is the level of our wisdom? Well, our wisdom is more than the wisdom of Almas Jacob, who did not reject the God. Okay. And now here we can see. Now let's say at the last word. Okay. Now, when we reject the teachers, we would lose the wisdom, and probably here was a several God. Here is a specific God who provide wisdom to us. It is a probably if we are theist or atheist. Because we atheists are not 100% sure that there are no God. Well, in the autism scale of between 1 and 7, uh, the score of artist is 6. 6. And now, here the wisdom we can, here is the several wisdom as we could see. But if we reject, when Almas Jacob said that why uh, Gen Zs are dumber than millennials and Generation X, or when Almas Jacob want to say that why Gen Z is dumber than every generation of the 20th century. Here she forgot that the what is her wisdom and what is Gen Z's wisdom. Okay. Now it is the how can we explain about the Gen Z's scientific wisdom versus Alma Jacob religious wisdom. But now let's check about the Generation X wisdom. We can say, okay, over-boundary velocity is 100 meters. Hence, the over-boundary length is 100 meters. Hence, the over-boundary velocity is square root of 98 meters. Okay. Now, let's check it. What is the square root of 98 meters? Well, here we can notify this. Well, now let's check. At the moment, it is not the shameful points. Okay. Now here we can see. Well, now when when range the length of over-boundary is 100 meter, over-boundary velocity is 31.31 meter per second. And here we can see the points, what is the over-boundary energy? Here we can see, now let's check, 803,600 divided by 10 to the power 5, I apologize, 10 to the power 4. And what is the points? That is 80.36 joule if and only if over-boundary length is 100 meters. Okay. Now let's check at the points. The over-boundary applied force would be 8.7 multiplied by 10 to the power 4 newtons if and only if over-boundary range is 100 meters. Well, now that is the scientific wisdom of Generation X. But the wisdom of Gen Z is over-boundary velocity can be 3131 meter per second in lieu of 31.31 meter per second. Well, over-boundary kinetic energy can be 80.36 joule. Accordance with Gen Z wisdom, over-boundary kinetic energy would be 803.6 kilojoule in lieu of 80.36 joule. On the other hand, accordance with Gen Z wisdom, over-boundary applied force can be 8.7 multiplied by 10 to the power 8 Newton in lieu of 8.7 multiplied by 10 to the power 4 newtons. And as a result, boundary velocity, the length of over boundary can be 1000 kilometers. And that is the wisdom of Genji. Okay. Now here we can say the scientific generation X is more wise than Almas Jacob, and Almas Jacob cannot touch the wisdom of Genji. And it is the point, as we could see. With here is the how Genji wisdom is larger than Generation X wisdom. But still, according with Almas Jacob, Generation X is more intelligent, and Genji is the dumbest of the dumbest of the last century. Genji was the dumbest, according with Almas Jacob, where reality is opposite. And reality is Genjis are more intelligent, more wise, and Genjis is most intelligent, most wise, and the most smartest than every generation of the 20th century. We did not talk about Albert Einstein. We did not talk about Stephen Hawking. Here we believe that, we Genjis believe that we cannot touch the intelligence level of Albert Einstein and Stephen Hawking. Well, yes. Where Stephen Hawking containing 1.45 kilograms of brains, that means 0.2 kilogram less lighter weight than the average human brains. Albert Einstein is most intelligent over the world that we could not touch it. Okay, now let's see what about the points. When here in the previous live stream of the general roasting podcast of Almas Jacob, now here we can see Almas Jacob is the follower of Aleister Crowley. Now here we can see where Almas Jacob support the statement of Aleister Crowley in a video where the topic of the video is about the research of Isaac Newton. And now the problem for Almas Jacob is we Genji are not supporting Aleister Crowley, the Archbishop of England, in lieu of Isaac Newton, the second greatest scientist of the world forever, and the greatest Christian scientist of England and the world as well. That is the problem for Almas Jacob. Well, and now here we can see in the cricket match, well, Almas Jacob still follow the Aleister Crowley, where aristocratically believe that over boundary range should be in the boundary of 100 meters, where Isaac Newton, the greatest scientist of England, believed that over boundary range can be 1000 kilometers, 4000 kilometers, 9000 kilometers, and 10,000 kilometers. If over boundary range is 60,000 kilometers, ball would cross the limit of the gravity of the earth, and it is the science. And we believe that that is the true because it is experimented in minute, or it is experimented is in minute by minutes. And now Almas Jacob does not believe that. How would we calculate the over boundary velocity or over boundary kinetic energy? And here the topic is over boundary applied force. Okay. And here we can see that is the points. Okay. Now let's talk about Harry Cook. Well, in the points of Harry Cook's boundary contains length of 1000 kilometers, 2000 kilometers, 3000 kilometers, and 4000 kilometers. And here we can see the points. That is the significant moments. Okay. Now here, what is root 2? That is 1.28. Well, now let's see. Now it can, when the over boundary velocity can be almost 4.1 meter per second, over boundary range would be 2000 kilometers. That is the flying distance between Kandy, the city of Pakistan, and Dhaka, the city of Bangladesh. Okay. And let's check the points. Over boundary range is, when over boundary is 2000 kilometers, well, over boundary kinetic force can be, well, 1608 kilojoule. And here, over boundary applied force can be 18 multiplied by 10 to the power 8 newtons. That is the second boundaries of Henry Cook. Now we can say 10 over boundaries and 10 boundaries and 2 over boundaries. We can say 40 sum by 12 is 52. And here we can see in 49 with the boundaries of over 10 boundaries and 2 over boundaries, we can see that Harry Cook's score is 88. And what is the significant moments at the points? Well, 66 subtracted by 12 is 54. That means England could score 154 in 18 over 5 balls if and only if Harry Brook scored 88 runs out of 49 balls in the base of 10 boundaries and 2 over boundaries. Okay, now let's check it. The points. Well, what if over boundary velocity is 3000 kilometers? Okay, now here we could see that is the significant moments. Well, we are more knowledgeable than Alma Jacobs because Alma Jacob contains no knowledge, as we can see. 3 multiple by 98 multiple by what about the ones? 1e 1e5, and here we can see what is the points. And now let's say the square root. That is, we can say over boundary velocity can be 5423 meter per second if and only if here over boundary range would be 3000 kilometers. That is 60% of the flying distance between Kandy, the city of Sri Lanka, and Shanghai, the city of China. Okay, now let's say, what about the points of over boundary kinetic energy? Any more? No. That would be 2412 kilojoule when the over boundary velocity is 3000 kilometers. And now here we can say over boundary applied force can be 27 multiplied by 10 to the power 8 Newton. Okay, that is our wisdom about that is Gen Z wisdom about the match, cricket match between Pakistan versus England in the ICC T20 World Cup 2026. But accordance with Almas Jacob, since we reject the gods, hence we lost the wisdom. Now, my question is here: is it the wisdom that over boundary velocity would be 32 meter per second? Is it the wisdom when over boundary kinetic energy would be 80.36 joule? Is it the wisdom that over boundary applied force would be 8.7 multiplied by 10 to the power 4 newtons? Well, that is my question to Alma Jacob. And I know here we can see some fake. Okay, here we can see some fake contents, or here we can see the fake channels of Alma Jacob, who would portray herself as a subscriber of Alma Jacob. And actually that would be the channels Alma Jacob create and communicate it to me that dear Michaela, you are wrong. Alma Jacob is so scientific. You did not understand like this. Why cannot you understand the Alma Jacob scientific research? That is the BS for me. Well, BS means bullshit. Because the point is significant moments when Almas Jacob scientific wisdom is over boundary velocity should be 100 meters as the wisdom of Aleister Crowley. And the changes wisdom is over boundary velocity should be over boundary length should be at the 1000 1,000 kilometers, 2,000 kilometers, 3,000 kilometers, or 5,000 kilometers. Okay. And now here we can see that is the significant moments. And let's take the points. Let's count 50 balls of Harry Brook where 10 boundaries and 3 over boundaries. Okay. What we can see? Harry Cook scored 94 runs out of 50 balls where 10 boundaries and 3 over boundaries. And what is the points? The points is clear that England would score 160 runs in 19 over. And it is the epiction of the match between Pakistan versus England in the ICC T20 Cricket World Cup. And now you can see the list point here. At the greatest points, we can see that can be the significant moments at the points. Okay. Now let's check it. What if over boundary range is 6,250 kilometers? Now let's talk about the points. Now here is my calculation, and my calculation can rock. Okay. Now here we can see 31 multiplied by 2.5. Okay. 7828 meter per second. Well, 804 multiplied by 2.5. It is to 2010. And now 9 multiplied by 2.5. And what is the result? 22.5. Okay. Now here we could find that when over boundary velocity is, I apologize, we could find that when over boundary range is 6,250 kilometers. Well, and here we can say velocity is, over boundary velocity is 7,828 meter per second. Over boundary kinetic energy is 2.01 megajoule. Over boundary applied force is 22.5 multiplied by 10 to the power 8 Newton. Well, that is, we can see that here is our wisdom, Genji's wisdom level. But Almas Jacob wisdom level is, well, but here we can see Almas Jacob's celebrities generation, scientific generation wisdom level is over boundary is 100 meter, over boundary velocity is 31 meter per second, over boundary kinetic energy is 81 joules, and over boundary applied force is 87 multiplied by 10 to the power 4 newtons. And what about the Almas Jacob? Almas Jacob's one wisdom is, well, our father in superstitious Pakistan, hallowed be your name, your kingdom come, you will be done, ... Your power, for your is the illiteracy, the power and the glory forever. I mean, in the name of the illiterate Father, illiterate Son of the, and the illiterate Holy Spirit. That is the wisdom of Almas Jacob to explain over boundary length of 100 meters, where our explain changing explain I apologize, where we Genji's wisdom is to explain the over boundaries length to be 6250 kilometers is more scientific than Generation X scientific wisdom. And here that is the points that how can we think. Okay. Now, what is the points of Alma Jacob? Let's check it. Well, unlimited access of inborn. In this video, when we generally get the unlimited access to information to get a knowledge, our understanding can be decreased. Unlimited access of information leads to zero satisfaction, and rejecting God weakens the ability to think and understand. According with Alma Jacob. Okay. Now, Generation X did not reject the God. Now here Generation X did not reject the God. Generation X thinks that highest of over boundary length would be 100 meters. And we Gen Z reject the God. We can think the highest over boundary range would be 6250 kilometer. Well, and here we can explain the scientific process that Generation X accepting God could not understand. Well, now our Gen Z rejecting God thinking is better than Alma Jacob. Gen Z rejecting God can more understand than Alma Jacob. Even Gen Z rejecting God can more understand the scientific Generation X who accept the God. Okay, now here we can say what is the points of Alma Jacob. Here Alma Jacob points is over. Okay. Well, now here we can see. Now let's talk about the points. I will take the rest of 3 days, and here we can see the points. Next topic is now today I would watch the match between New Zealand versus Sri Lanka. I would watch on the match between South Africa versus West Indies, and I would watch the match between Zimbabwe versus India, and I would watch the match between New Zealand versus England, and I would say about the topics. In the same topics, I would be in the live stream with the match between New Zealand versus England and Zimbabwe versus India and South Africa versus West Indies. Here I would say about topic of cricket England, cricket Zimbabwe, cricket Sri Lanka, and cricket South Africa. See you then. Kodabes. Love you.